I'm a lawyer in the legal service of the Commission and responsible for research policy.
Currently I'm working at DG Environment of the European Commission, and I am a case handler.
I'm a lawyer-linguist in the Council, in the legal service, in a directorate known as the Quality of Legislation.
In my daily work I assess the legislation of the Member States, where I check the compliance of the national legislation with the EU rules, and if it's not the case, then the Commission asks the Member States to change the legislation or their practices.
Lawyers here, we revise all the documents that are passed to the commissioners for the adoption. This is a legal revision, this is revision on the substance of the documents. Secondly, we represent Commission in the European Court.
I have to be in regular contact with our experts because the legislation is also very technical. And I'm also in contact with different environmental NGOs, with citizens from the Member States, with representatives from the industry and also national authorities.
Lawyer-linguists are often confused with translators. We're not translators. We're responsible, as the name of our directorate implies, for the quality of legislation. So we try and ensure that any legislation that is adopted by the EU is legally coherent, factually correct, but also linguistically coherent. All language versions are equally authentic, so we have to ensure that they all say exactly the same thing. I studied law, and being half English and half Italian, I studied English law and Italian law.
I have a legal background, so I studied European law in Latvia.
I have a bachelor's degree in science of politics and in law, and master's degree in law.
I first started as a trainee in the European Commission in the legal service, and then I was sent to work for the Commission as a national expert from the national authority where I worked at the time.
I started my career as a lawyer-linguist in court in Luxembourg, and then opportunity arose. I was invited to work for the Commission, and I took this chance, and in half a year I started working here in Brussels in Commission Legal Service.
You're constantly involved with the most up-to-date legislation. Even before it comes out on the news, you've been involved in, to a certain extent, the negotiations for it. And yes, an example was just recently working on the accession treaty for Croatia. And my colleague that was responsible for it then went to the signing ceremony, met all the heads of state. So there's something quite prestigious about it. I'm working currently on the intergovernmental treaty. And so that's yet another interesting aspect.
I feel in my job that I give voice to environment by making sure that member states properly apply their legislation and their practices. And if we identify that there are some breaches, then that they're properly tackled.
On a constant basis I have to find legal solutions to tricky situations. For example, conclusion of international agreements. When the European Union concludes an agreement with some third country, first, what will we include in substance in such an agreement in order best to serve the EU interests? Or some practical considerations, who will sign the agreements? Will it be Commissioner, will it be Director General? And how it will be signed? Shall it be signed only on the last page, or does it need to be signed also on every page of the agreement? Most of the EU institutions use English as their working languages. But then here in legal service I would say this would be unthinkable to live also without knowing French. It happens sometimes when you get some documents in French and then you go to a meeting, you have to express yourself in English. And then the particularity of legal service is also such that although the Commission has 3 official working languages, German, French and English, the European Court has only one, which is French. So often you have to analyze documents which are available only in French.
In the daily work, I use Latvian and English. That covers a lot of member states because you can work with English with most of them, I use also French with my colleagues.
A lawyer-linguist has to speak 3 languages very well to be able to get in. That's already a precondition. And naturally, there's always the opportunity to learn new languages here. The languages I use essentially are English because I'm in the English team. That's the language they use essentially in negotiations. Or otherwise, French. The legal service is still very much imbued with the French culture, so we do use French very often as well.
The Commission training catalogue is very big, it's very diverse. So basically you can choose all sorts of trainings, be it the language courses or trainings for personal development. Since I joined the Commission, I have followed language classes to improve my French, and I have also followed some legal courses, for example, to be acquainted with the new procedures of co-decision under the Lisbon Treaty, and I have also followed some personal development courses like improving communication skills.
Our department assists us very much. It organises a lot of training for newcomers, but also for more experienced colleagues, and I've been involved in preparing some of those trainings, and so it's a great experience, not only to receive training, but to also give training, so there's a lot of opportunities here. I love it. I wouldn't be able to adapt to anything less than that. No, absolutely great. Perhaps I'm assisted by my background, but absolutely, being in touch with different cultures, different nationalities, learning about different traditions is a very enriching experience.